everybody, it's your girl Connie, Kenneth. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome, and please make sure you subscribe and hit that like button. And of course, let's have a discussion. In the just comment, okay? So let's have a chat. And so if you have been supporting me, thank you so much. The family is growing. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you guys. So today I would like to introduce you to one of my favorite YouTube couples, and this is Ash and Evan. So Ash is from Uganda, and Evan is from the USA, and they're of course an interracial couple. So if you don't know anything about them, please go check them out, because if you don't believe in sex after marriage, then you should probably think about it. Okay, so just check out their channel link in the description below. And so today I'm very interested in this video. Why? Because they're going to compare Uganda versus Switzerland. So which one is better? So they just moved to Switzerland for their studies, university, and so they're going to compare. So I would like to see Ash's point of view, because she just got to Switzerland. It's her first time out of Uganda, and I would like to see if her first impression was the same as mine. Why? Because I am in France, and so we're neighbors actually, Ashley and Evan, if you get to watch this. And so I would like to see if we got to have the same first impression. So let's get into this. Let's go.
Oh, club, I'm like, yo.
So
Personally, if I found, for example, if I still had my mom and I find her in a bar, oh, club, I'm like, yo, you're odd. Why would you do that? But then being here has made me realize that we all have freedom to enjoy. We are all people at the same time. I mean, we are all going to die, so we should enjoy. There's yellow bananas here, bogoya. You wouldn't want to try, guys.
Ugandan bananas are better.
They are fresh and they're from soil. I feel like these ones are just not from soil, they are from another planet.
Okay, let's see. So that was the intro. So let's see.
What's up, guys?
What's up?
Evan.
And today we are
going to talk about the differences between Switzerland and Uganda.
Uganda and Switzerland.
Right.
Exactly, guys. So you probably might expect that they're very different. These are completely opposite countries, but you may be surprised to know there are a few similarities that I see.
So guys, before we start, I'll first tell you how I felt the first day or in these past weeks we've been in Swiss. So everything here for me is quite different.
Right.
You know, the way you walk in roads, the way you like things like trash, like a lot of things. Guys, we're going to talk about all these.
Yeah, I remember, when I arrived here, everything is different when it comes from the infrastructure, when it comes to the transport system, when it comes to the way people dress up, the way people walk, the way people actually sit at the table, stuff like that. And I feel like in Africa we have like dining tables that we don't really use. I mean, here people are very, very, very particular about that, and so they like, sitting at the table and eating and stuff like that. So I understand exactly where you're coming from. The trash cans, I remember when I arrived in France, I think a year later, that's when they introduced in France like different bins. So you have beans for just the usual trash, then you have recycling bins for bottles, for boxes, and and recently they introduced the what do you call it, it's a recycling bins, but more for vegetables, just to make homemade manure, I would say. So yeah, so it's really interesting to see the way things have changed. But that is one thing I got to see. I think it must have been because I arrived in France in 2003, so they must have implemented the recycling stuff in 2004, 2005. I'm not so sure, but yeah.
Overall, has it been a good difference or a bad?
For me, it's better than my country, Uganda. Of
Oh, okay.
Overall better.
Yeah,
Mhm.
overall 90% better.
Oh.
Wow.
I'm not saying Uganda is bad. I'm forever Ugandan and I love Uganda.
Right.
But when it comes to services here, for example, infrastructure or medical anything, you
Yeah.
can see that this is way better than Uganda. So I give it a 90%.
But there are negative.
And I honestly feel where you're coming from. I remember when I got to France, I was like, my goodness, I don't have to carry an extra pair of shoes. I don't have to carry an extra pair of pants because I remember, I mean, in Kenya, if I wanted to wear white for the day, I would wear a horrible pair of shoes and a horrible pair of pants. And then when I get to my destination, when I get to the CBD, so Nairobi, then I would change, because wow, the dust, and it's the brown dust as well, and the hair, and I would do everything once I got to Nairobi, and and yeah, and just change and stuff like that. So I honestly feel the services, there's no corruption, there is no, there's so many things that are very different. Life is easier, I would say, because I remember, of course, in Africa, I think things are changing today, but most people still wash clothes with their hands. And here with the dishwasher and the washing machine, well, back in the days, you can remember, I can remember, you can just imagine back in the, today, I think things have changed. You have more and more people with dishwashers and and laundry machines. So it's different. But Mike, I was like, oh, this is the life, So I feel you, Ashley. 100%. With time, things have changed. For on my side, I'm like, okay, home, east or west, home is the best. But that's why it was very interesting for me to see her perspective comparing to mine when I was a fresh person here.
Negative things, and we'll talk about those.
Yeah.
So do you want me to go first? You
Yeah,
would?
go first.
Okay, so the first difference is the sense of time.
Mm,
In East Africa in general, you have a just go with the flow kind
right.
of attitude towards time and timeliness and meetings. Like if you have a meeting at 9 a.m., people might not show up until 9:30, 10,
Yeah, in
Mhm.
midday,
Uganda,
afternoon.
Right.
in Uganda,
Exactly. I understand exactly what you're saying. But you know what we say? We say, I wouldn't say East Africa. I would say Africa as a whole. People are, they take their time, never on time. We say people have, I think I don't know what the expression is like. The most, I mean, people in general have time, but Africans have the clock. We own it. We do whatever we want to do with it. But yeah, I understand. I remember my father. Every time he would you would tell him, let's meet up at I don't know, at midday. Then he would come at 4 p.m. Like, I'm on the way, I'm on the way, I'm on the way. So we have a very particular relationship with time, and I think probably things are better now with the older generations. But yeah, I think it's still the case where we have all the time, never on time. So
9 a.m. is 10.
Yeah, so
what
if
did
you
she
say
say?
In Uganda, 9 a.m. is 10.
Right.
yeah, so if you say a certain time in Uganda,
Mm.
you're going to meet at that time. You don't necessarily meet at that time.
Mhm.
Not everybody's like that in Uganda, but I think generally speaking, it's like
Right.
that. But in Switzerland, they're very timely. So if you have a meeting at 9 a.m., it's at 9 a.m.
Mhm.
But even within Switzerland, I've noticed the timeliness is more important in some areas than others. I think in the Swiss German region of Switzerland, they're the most timely,
Okay.
especially with like train schedules. I don't think they ever have late trains,
No.
so you can never use that as an excuse for being late for work. But then in the other regions, like the Swiss French and the Italian region, which we're in, I think things are a little bit more relaxed, but
Okay.
not by much. So you still have to be on time to your commitments, your meetings, whatever it is.
The most
Right.
funny thing,
And so, yeah, and talking about trains, that was something else that really shocked me. I remember when I got here is, in Kenya, for example, I mean, you have matatu, so those are like the vans, the public transport, and so They never keep time. The buses were always late. The train never on time and stuff like that. Where now we have a train that is, that really keep time. But yeah, but that was the way it is. Like I thought, like here, like if you miss your train, you have to wait for the next one. If you're lucky enough to be in Paris, like you have the metros every 5 minutes during the rush hour, and then during the day you have to wait for like between 15 and half an hour. But if you miss your train, you miss it. I mean, even if the driver sees you, you've just arrived on the platform and he's already closing the doors, he can't open the doors again. That's how it is. And yeah, time is time. And unless there's like a technical problem, trains are always, the buses, the metros, the subways, all of them are always on time, always.
To your commitments, your meetings, whatever it is.
The most funny thing here is trash is expensive. So first of all, in Uganda, you can throw a bottle anywhere, you can throw anything you want anywhere, you can pee on the streets. Here, trust me, it's not allowed.
Right.
And you have, like, trash is different. Here there is, how is it called? Like,
you have recycling, you have plastic bottles, you have cans, you have papers, you have a whole bunch. Trash is sorted into a bunch of different categories, and you have to bring it to these drop-off locations, and you can't just throw away trash.
Right.
You can't lump it all together.
And guys, the annoying part is, okay, it's not annoying, but it's for the betterness of our environment. Guys, to buy a trash paper, Kavera, it's it's expensive. It's like, okay,
it's like $5 for a roll of small trash bags, and you have to use those for your main collection of trash. You can't just put them in any bag.
Yeah, so guys, all you know, it's like 15,000 buying just. You know how expensive that is.
Right. Yeah. I understand completely. And Switzerland, I mean, just comparing Switzerland to France, I don't know how many bags you have in there. I think you have different hubs. Sometimes you can have the 20, the 30, the 51. And I think the one you're talking about must be the 50 bags, the 50, you get me, the 50 bag, the roll with 50 plastic bags. And yes, and Switzerland is very expensive. Just to give you an idea, that one in France, it's €3 and almost 50. So Switzerland is a very expensive country. But just to come back, I remember when I got to France and I would go shopping. So I think it was not long before before it was the French francs, and then they moved to the euros. And it was very funny. I remember my mom had given me some pocket money, and I was like, compared to Kenya, I was like, oh, it's only €5. I didn't really think about converting that at first. So I would buy and buy and buy. And my stupid young self, okay, I admit it, but and then one day I converted, I calculated, I was like, what? I was buying something that I would probably buy a third the price, and it was like very expensive. So I understand, because I know like for one euro is 100 Kenyan shillings. So you can just imagine €5 is 500 Kenyan shillings, if not more, depending on the rates. So I was so mad. I was so angry at myself because I had used quite a lot of money before I realized, like, whoa, girl, chill. So I understand. Yeah, and even I think the worst is the fruits. When you go and you buy avocados, bananas, pineapples, first of all, they're very expensive because they're exotic fruits, all right? And then second of all, tasteless. Like, I was like, what? This is not a banana. This is not an avocado. And I stopped eating fruits for a long time, and also vegetables, because they didn't taste as good as they do back home. So you will see. I guess you still have like more experience to have on, in Switzerland, but it's crazy the way things are expensive here.
Yeah, it's good for our environment. You can't just find trash.
Yeah, that's good.
If it's a Kavera here on the street, trust me.
They have street cleaners, these cars that go along the streets and they clean up trash. So everything's always clean.
Right. And they also clean, you have some trucks early in the morning that go and clean the streets. So when you wake up in the morning, everything is clean and yeah.
Guys, you can sit anywhere and eat.
So one difference I can think of is what kind of colors you can wear in Switzerland and Uganda, specifically white colors. I wouldn't really dare wear white in Uganda unless I want to turn white.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about. Yeah, white is a no, and I would just have I would always have a different, just carry some stuff to change.
Orange by the end of the day, or even after an hour, especially white shoes. You just can't get away with wearing white shoes in most places in Uganda because the orange dirt is everywhere. It's gonna get all over your whites and stain it. But here in Switzerland, there's not much mud, at least in the city where we are, and it's not really something that stains so easily.
Yes, I understand completely, and I know. So I remember if I have some black shoes on, then I don't know if it's the same in Uganda. Let me know, but I would just go to the shoe cleaners on the street. So that was but it's not too expensive, and it wasn't, and it still isn't. But yeah, so it was my thing. I would just get to where I was going, go to my shoe cleaner. He would clean my shoes, polish them, and then I would go to work and change, my work into nice clothes and stuff, into white clothes if that time. Anything clear, not necessarily white, but yeah, anything that was clear colors, then yeah, it's a no. You just don't, no.
So I can wear all my whites and not worry about them.
Yeah, and guys, it's raining right now, but you can still put on your white shoes if you want. You can put on white clothes, because even if water splashes on you, it's not here, it's just normal water. Next is internet.
Okay, internet.
Yeah, for example, in Uganda, it's rare to find a limitless band on my side.
Right. And that is a game changer. Honestly, that is a game changer. I know, not probably back in the days, but today, I know every time I go home, I don't understand this bundles thing. And then it's so easy here. It's unlimited. The Wi-Fi is limited. You don't, my goodness, it's a game changer. I know and especially when you're a YouTuber, we download a lot of videos. So for you to upload a video on YouTube, back home, it can take forever. It's expensive. You have to keep charging your bundles again. But yeah, in Switzerland and in Europe in general, it's different. It's unlimited.
They always say a month you pay 50,000, and for a specific, for example, 128 GB. Here, when we bought our source flat, they give us unlimited data. So I have data all the way.
Right.
Yeah, we never have to worry about
small amount actually.
Airtime, texts that we can send. It's all unlimited, at least with our plan. So we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, guys, we don't know about other networks, but the network we have, it's unlimited.
Yes, it's all the networks, because they have to keep the competition, and all of them, and it's the same in France. All the networks have the same offers. So more or less, sometimes you can pay €1. Like in France, the Orange network, it's more expensive because they're the ones who hold the national network. So they're a little bit more expensive. Of course, their network is better and stuff like that. So yeah, but all of them are like that. All of them are like that. You just have to pay, depending on your offer. You have free phone calls. So of course, national, free phone calls, unlimited SMSs, the Wi-Fi, the limited as well. So yeah, so it's fantastic.
Yeah, and it's fast, guys. We can download big files.
Yeah, exactly.
Almost instantly. Versus in Uganda, it takes a while, as you probably know if you're there. And so it made it really hard for my work because most of it is online. And so it took a while to do all the things I needed to do because of just couldn't access things quickly. So, guys, most of these things have been a little negative, but there are things about Uganda that I love a lot more than here. Specifically, like I like that I can arrive whenever in Uganda and I don't have to adhere to a schedule like so strict.
That's nice.
Yeah, because
Oh my God.
I like having
Yeah, I understand. But before you continue, the cup, Ashley's cup. I love the what is it? Is it a sheep or something? It's so funny. Just looking at us like that. So, but anyway, let's go.
Yeah,
strict.
that's nice.
Yeah, because I like having a flexible schedule.
Yeah, so first of all, yeah, you have a flexible schedule. Then I feel it's like you can be more spontaneous. You don't have to follow the rules and follow everything. You have like more freedom when it comes to planning your day, or whatever the case may be, or just going to see a friend and find. You can just like turn up. You can just turn up. You don't have to tell them, ask them if it's okay and stuff like that. Yeah, so I feel when it comes to the social life and life in general, I think it's a very nice thing that Africans we have is, you can just, yeah, you just live your life. It's smooth, it's not complicated. But of course, when it comes to business, then it's a different story because you need to, keep time. You need to, yeah. So I feel there's some things that we can take, others we can adapt to. I don't know if it makes sense, but I understand what Evans is saying, and I also understand what Ash is saying. So yeah, it has to be like in between, a compromise between both.
I'm not like a timely person, so I like having flexibility to arrive late.
I
Okay.
personally prefer the one here because it gives me enough time to balance my activities. If I know this will start at 5 and end at 6, I will go for it, but then prepare for the next hours. In Uganda, you cannot prepare for the next hours before you finish
Okay.
your first thing. So I prefer something like this one here.
Okay, yeah. So that's a good point. Yeah, it kind of helps you to be like more organized, of course, because if you have a schedule that you have to abide by, then yeah, it gives you probably a better, I would say, planning. You can manage your time much better. But yeah, but I feel both can create a good balance if you have one.
People are also friendlier in Uganda.
Oh,
People
yeah.
are not very friendly in Switzerland, and I'm kind of used to that because it's like that in Boston where I come from. But I like being around friendly people, and so it can kind of get lonely after a while if people aren't greeting you, or you're just not able to make friends as quickly.
Right.
So that's a downside. It's easy to make friends in Uganda.
Yeah, guys, one thing I've realized here is maybe it's with Swiss people, but so far I already have a Swiss friend, and I think for Italians it's different. Italians are so friendly, guys. And this region we are in is the region that is close to Italy, so most students from Italy
yeah.
are at our university, and I feel like they are so friendly.
Yeah, but this is something that in Europe you find a lot. Like people are like, we have neighbors, but you don't know them. People don't really like invite each other or become too friendly, or it takes time to make friends in Europe. It takes time. And now when I'm not talking about like Kenyan friends because you're Kenyan, or Ugandan friends because you're Ugandan. It takes time to make friends from Switzerland, like real Swiss, or real French and stuff like that. It's really, really complicated to make good friends, and friends that you will keep for a long time. You can have acquaintances, that's okay. You can go out a few times, that's still okay. But for you to keep them as real friends for the longest time, that's more complicated. And neighbors don't know each other because everyone is, behind closed doors. People don't really spend time outside their house. If they want to do something, they go outdoors and stuff like that. So, and they already have their own friends, childhood friends. So unless you grow up here, then of course it's easier to make those friends. But if you just arrive in the country and the circle is already full, complete, or made, then it's way different. Yeah, so I understand. I know in Africa, everybody will say hello, everybody is always smiling, people are always together, friends, cousins, whatever the case may be. So it's a completely different vibe, completely.
So they're like Ugandan.
Let's talk about some funny ones. What did you think about old people in Uganda versus old people in Switzerland?
Okay, guys, in Uganda, if you find like an old man in a bar, you're like, why? Doesn't he have something to do? Like it's weird finding an old person dancing on the street, for example. People always say act your age, but no, it's not something here, guys. Here, people still enjoy life, whether you're old or not. We are all here to enjoy.
In fact, in our city,
one day.
down by the water where all the restaurants are, most of the people there are older,
Right.
middle-aged.
Absolutely, I agree with you, and I feel that so this is the same in France. It's the same, like, and also I think for me it wasn't like more like people going out and going. It was more like the way the old people still wear makeup. They're dressed really nice. They just don't like, oh, I'm old now, so I have to neglect myself. No, it's the opposite. You'll find a 70-year-old, an 80-year-old, a 90-year-old still well dressed. They go to the hairdresser. They wear makeup and stuff like that. So it's a whole different vibe. So that was something that I was like, oh, this is something that we need to adapt as Africans and not think like, oh, I'm a mom now, so I have to neglect myself, or I'm an old person now. Let me just do some shady hairstyle or just dress whatever. But yeah, but I understand what you mean. Like people here, like if you go to a club, of course you'll find young people, but you also have places where you will find older people and stuff like that who still have fun. They take dancing lessons, they have activities and stuff like that. So it's I understand where you're coming from. I do.
And so that was surprising to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
guys, personally, if I found, for example, if I still had my mom and I find her in a bar or club, I'm like, yo, you're old, why would you do
Right.
that? But then being here has made me realize that we all have freedom to enjoy. We
Right.
are all people at
Right.
the same time. I mean, we are all going to die, so we should enjoy.
Right.
Okay, talk about the differences in the taste of food, like fruits, like
Oh.
bananas.
Guys, right now the things I've tested versus the ones in Uganda, guys, yellow bananas here, bogoya, you wouldn't want to try, guys. It's not, it tastes
I like them.
You don't.
Yeah, but I understand you actually 100%. It was the same for me. I was like, what am I tasting? And also for the meat, and also the meat is different. I was shocked the way, like, in Africa, the way we just make like a big pot and, we cook some stew and stuff like that. So you have a lot. I remember my grandma used to tell me, you always have to cook a lot. You never know who's coming, you never know who's on the way. So always make some extra food. And then here, like if you have like the minced meat, in the block kind of, we call it the steak haché. Then if you're four, you make four of them. If it's the chicken, you're four, you make four pieces. And so that was also something I was like, my goodness, I remember the first time somebody served me coffee at their home. It was a small cup, those coffee cups. um I was like, my goodness, people are so, I don't know, people are, they, I don't know how to I don't even know how it's, because in Africa you always have like a big cup full, not halfway, because if it's halfway people think like you don't like them, or you're being a little bit stingy and stuff like that. So it was, yeah, it's crazy. I completely agree with you on this one.
They're not so different.
Not as nice as Uganda.
The Ugandan bananas are better, but
They are fresh and they're
Right.
from soil. I feel like these ones are just not from soil, they are from another planet. So guys, bananas here are not nice, but I don't think I could eat them surely, but I can take it as a smoothie. Yeah, and so guys, another thing here, AstraZeneca is not accepted. I know in Uganda it is, it's our official one because it's the only one we have. but in Swiss it's not.
Oh, you're talking about the vaccine?
So if you plan to come to Swiss soon to study, you don't even need to get vaccinated because they won't accept it. So it's better you vaccinate yourself from this side.
Right. Yeah, it was forbidden in Europe in general. I think it's all over Europe because in France it's not forbidden really, but it's no longer used in France. So it's more like the Pfizer one. The vaccine is a Pfizer one here.
Right?
Maybe I don't know if it's accessible for tourists
I
to
don't
get
know.
vaccinated here.
Oh.
But how about some similarities, guys? Even though Switzerland and Uganda are very different, one thing I noticed that's very similar is both countries are into rules. It's different where they are strict with rules, but I noticed both countries are strict with the rules that they care about. So in Uganda, for example, the rules that are strict are like I can't take pictures on a bridge, or especially with all the COVID restrictions, like I can't go outside after curfew at night.
Oh, yeah. Are you talking about respecting rules? Yeah. And this is something that Switzerland are even more respectful of rules than French. In Switzerland, if you're not supposed to park at a specific place and you do so, of course, if the police see that, they will come and give you a fine. But if a Swiss citizen actually sees that, they can tell on you. And this is something that they also learn in school, like what is right and what is wrong. So they have this strong culture. I'm surprised it's the same thing in Uganda because I know in Kenya for sure it's not. People do everything to break rules. People never really follow the rules. I'm talking about like the everyday life rules, like don't park here, don't litter, don't do this, don't do that. And yeah, I don't know, I'm very surprised that in Uganda it's the same thing, which is a very nice thing.
Or I can't go to a restaurant with my dog, or they'll kick me out. But then here, they might be more willing to let me take my dog to a restaurant, but then they're strict with other rules.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
I can't go into the library at our school without a Swiss COVID vaccination card, or in my apartment, you have to be very quiet after 9 p.m. until morning, and I can't play music or even take a shower maybe because it would make too much noise. And so there's different kinds of rules in both countries, but I notice both are very strict with the ones that they care about.
Yeah, guys, in Uganda, I personally don't agree with him because in Uganda it is a rule, but do we do it? We are like mafias. No one will sit home and like.
She's right. She's right. The rules are there, but they're broken. Oftentimes they're not. I feel this is like typically African. Like the rules are there, but who follows them? Look at the curfew. I know in Kenya, for example, the bars are supposed to be closed, but there was a back door where people will just use the back door and go and drink and continue with their life. The policemen would probably know, then they would get something small. They would be bribed, and yeah, and that's how. I mean, it's typically African. We just love breaking the law. They're there, but we break them all the same. So I agree with you.
They say bars are not supposed to be open. Bars are open. People are going out. They said don't move out curfew time.
Exactly.
Do we stay home? No. So, but here,
maybe I stick out.
A rule. Here, everyone does.
Yes.
Trust me.
Yes. People completely abide by the rule. If the bars are closed, they're closed. And let me tell you, the governments do not joke about it. If they say like restaurants, before you go to, they have to verify that you have your sanitary pass. They always do so because they know they have so much to lose if they're ever caught, by the government and stuff like that. So, yeah, which is different in Kenya, or I think in East Africa or Africa in general. Then you know that okay, the police will come, they will check this, you will bribe them a little bit, and then you're good to go. So I agree.
If it's don't enter the library, people don't.
Right.
In
Except
Uganda, guys, they will say don't move when you're seeing a
Right.
policeman, but you still move.
Right.
Although we say our police is bad, but us, Ugandans, we are also stubborn.
Right.
And guys, in addition to that thing of saying you cannot take a picture at the bridge, we are supposed to, because it's like marketing our country. But it's just the police wanting money out of people.
Right.
So it's not a rule set by the government.
Yeah.
It's the police wanting money. So that makes it different from here.
Right.
Here, rules are rules set by the government and people follow them for the goodness. This is right. But in Uganda, if it is a rule, people will be like, oh, Museveni, ururu. Oh, the government, they don't want to know how helpful it is. You see?
I agree.
So, yeah.
I agree.
And guys, another thing is power here. Electricity for now is there 100, like 24/7.
Oh my goodness, girl, you can say that again. I was tired of power blackouts in Kenya. I was so tired. And sometimes when I travel home, sometimes we have those blackouts. I'm like, oh my goodness, how? How is it possible that up to date we still have those? And it's not like a few minutes. It can take a day, it can take hours. And you're like, no way, what's going on? So, power blackouts. It can happen sometimes during the storm. It happened to us like 2 years ago. That was a huge storm where I live, and so there was a power blackout for the whole day, which is that was like a crazy storm. And yeah, and some places up in the mountains where it took them like days, some weeks. Yeah, it was terrible. But other than that, then you will never experience a power blackout, never. Or it can happen, but not too long. It will just take like 5 minutes to the max, and yeah, very rare.
In Uganda, it's always off, on, off, on. So.
Right.
Yeah, you can rely on having constant power here. And then when it comes to health, in Uganda, it's much more affordable to buy healthy food. And so it's easier to eat healthy in that sense. And also going to the hospital is a lot cheaper. But then the downside, at least for me, my body wasn't good with the things I was exposed to in Uganda. So I got sick a lot more often, even though I was able to eat healthier more excessively. So you give and you take.
Yeah, guys, here there is this thing so-called insurance. It's like expensive, and for me it feels like I'll pay for nothing, because some people don't get sick. so but you have to pay it like
you have to pay for health insurance here. It's
month.
required.
Every month.
It's expensive.
Right.
Yeah,
In Uganda, you don't have to do that.
In Uganda, you can even treat yourself. For example, you have a headache, you're like, oh my god, I have malaria. You go to the hospital,
Right.
take medicine. Here.
Yes, I agree with you. But I feel it's a very nice thing, because when you go to the hospital, you don't have the stress. Like, you can imagine if you fall sick and you don't have money at that point, and you're like, oh my god, I can't go to the hospital because I don't have money. And in this case, you don't have to worry about it. Everything is taken care of by the insurance. And it's the same thing in France. And I feel it was like something that was, I was so happy to learn that, because I know in Kenya, for instance, like if you're really sick or if you go to the hospital, before you get treated, you have to pay first. You have to pay for the vaccine, for the drip, for everything, for the bed. You have to pay for everything in advance before they take care of you. So I feel the insurance, of course, sometimes you feel like you're paying for nothing, but by the end of the day you fall sick, then my goodness, you'll be so happy to have that insurance. So I don't know if the insurance in Switzerland and in France it's the same. In France we have two. You have one that the social security for, it's a general one, and then you have to pay next. So this one, when you're working, then you just pay a small amount from your pay, and then you have to have like an additional one, the insurance, the medical insurance that comes and complements it. So by the end of the day, if you go to the hospital, you're refunded the whole amount if you pay something in advance, and most times you don't at all. So yeah, so it's a nice thing. I feel it's a nice thing to have the insurance. I know they've implemented one in Kenya. It's still not compulsory, the NHIF. but I feel that it should be so that more and more people have access to health, health services, and yeah, it's really really nice.
You can't.
You can't go to the pharmacy and ask for whatever you
Right.
want here. You have to get a prescription from your doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And in Uganda, you can just buy whatever you want, which is kind of nice because I knew what I was sick with sometimes, and I knew what I needed.
Right.
But then here, if I want like Dayquil to help with a cold, I don't think I can get that so easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I don't know if it's the same in France than in Switzerland, because in France there's some medication that you can buy directly from the chemist without any prescription. So that is something like the Doliprane. So that is like paracetamols. And some few other medicines that you don't really need a prescription for. So, but there's some specific ones that you must have a prescription, and you cannot say, "Oh, please." They need a prescription from the doctor, so you can get them. And again, you don't pay nothing for that medicine. So you see, by now the insurance is fantastic. You just have to give the prescription, you get the medicine, and you're good to go.
Guys, there are very many different things here. For example, in Uganda, someone can come in Uganda, and even their visa can get done and they stay forever. No one wants to know. It's a free country, but here, trust me, everything is complicated. But I think it's better. It's better here. So, guys, according to all what we've said, you can see and compare for you which country do you think is better than the other. I mean,
Yes.
I'm not saying Uganda is not nice. It's my country. I love it. I'm not trying to hurt anyone. I'm just saying it's my opinion.
Your point of view.
So yeah, see?
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, it's your point of view, and I think it's nice. And that's why we say traveling is very important, because it helps you see other things, the way people function, other types of foods, different cultures. It just opens up the horizon, and it's really great. I know in Kenya, if you have a visa and then your visa expires, you should not stay in Kenya. And what you should do, and what most people do, is they go to Tanzania, for example, and then they come back, so with a new visa, to any border actually. So any country that borders Kenya, you can just get out of Kenya and come back again and get a visa from the border. And yeah, so that's how you can get. But in Kenya, no, they don't joke with that. It can just be an excuse to charge you more for the visa, or to get a bribe. So yeah, most people I know try their best to not to play with that.
This is 90% for me. And yeah.
You should also maybe do a different video about differences between Switzerland and the U.S. after you go visit there.
Yeah, that's so good.
That would be
guys,
nice.
A lot of things we would want to talk about in this video, but we still have to think, and we still need, more time, because we've been here for just 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So those are the things we've seen so far. And maybe, guys, another thing that is similar to Uganda, Swiss, like being similar to Uganda, we both have hills. I mean, these hills are a bit higher and stony, but there are countries there are districts like Kalari that has stony hills. Kundiri has these small hills like I see here, so that is also a nice similarity.
Right.
Anyway,
yeah. Switzerland is very beautiful, and I hope that you will go skiing as well. It will be a nice experience to see you. I think it will be your first time to see the snow. You will have more to tell us about that, and probably go skiing or sledging or whatever the case may be. But that will be a very interesting video to see you this winter. Singing or dancing or playing in the snow. It will be nice to see that.
Guys, that's all for today, dear.
No, I feel like there's a lot more we could say, but I feel like those are the most immediate examples we can think of.
Yeah. One thing again, we don't have Uber in Uganda.
Okay.
Can you imagine? But there are very many other options. But Uber, is something we need.
Okay.
You can walk around everywhere. The city's pretty small, so you don't need photos. You don't
Right.
need Uber.
Anyway, that's
Yeah.
it.
In Kenya we have Ubers. Apparently, I haven't seen that yet, but I know when when Kenyans come for the rugby sevens in Paris, then most of them have the Uber app, and yeah, so I think that there you have Ubers in Kenya.
For today, guys.
All right. Thanks
Feel
for
free.
tuning in.
Feel free to drop your comment down if you think we were mistaken somewhere.
If you've been to Switzerland and you've been to Uganda,
Right.
tell us what differences we missed or ones that you disagree with or agree with, whatever.
Okay,
So,
see you guys. Peace.
Wow, look at how cute they are. You guys make a beautiful couple. I love you guys. I've been watching you. I think I discovered their channel, was it like 3 weeks ago? Or yeah, and I've been binge watching their videos. I just love this couple. And so, guys, thank you so much for sharing your experience so far in Switzerland. And it's nice to have that, that comparison just to see how it goes. And it will be so nice to see probably in a few months if some things have changed or not, and yeah, and share your experiences. So guys, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed my reaction. If you did, make sure you subscribe, okay? And until next time, it's your girl Connie, and